The objectives of this speech are to prepare a speech praising someone, either living or dead, to address areas concerning the individual and their accomplishments, and to include anecdotes illustrating points within the speech. The time is 5 to 7 minutes. Arrogance, in praise of Ludwig van Beethoven. A definition of arrogance: an attitude of superiority shown in an overbearing manner or in presumptuous claims or assumptions. I'm going to talk about a man who early on showed outstanding ability, but who developed a reputation, deserved, for being suspicious, overbearing and abusive. Worse than this, he believed that he was supremely gifted above all others in his field, and he had an obligation to share his gift with all humanity. He not only believed this arrogant claim, but he always acted as if it was true. He was an arrogant man, one of the most arrogant our civilization has ever produced. But there was a reason for his overbearing manner, and in my opinion, and the opinion of many others, he was indeed supremely gifted, and he has enriched our Western civilization's music beyond any other individual. So, I'm going to discuss the arrogance of Ludwig van Beethoven. First, I'll give a brief outline of his life and career. Second, I'll refer to a document known as the Heiligstadt Testament. And finally, I'll discuss the concept of arrogance as it applies to a supreme genius like Beethoven. Beethoven was born in 1770 in Germany, in Bonn. His father was a musician, and very early on, Beethoven showed great aptitude, particularly playing the piano. In 1792, at the age of 22, he went to Vienna the year after Mozart had died, and very quickly he established himself as the leading pianist in Vienna. However, he had a lot of trouble with the nobles who employed him to play. 3 years before, there'd been the French Revolution with its ideals of liberty, equality and brotherhood. And Beethoven was infected by those ideals, and he expected to be treated as an individual who was equal. Well, he was such a good pianist that they had to accept him as he was, but they regarded him as boorish and ignorant and very, very rude indeed. Around about the age of 26, he started to notice that he had a lot of trouble with hearing, and he rapidly became very, very deaf. In 1802, he went up to a small village in the mountains to see if silence for a couple of months would help. It did not help, and he was in great despair. While he was up there, he wrote a short document called the Heiligstadt Testament, which I'll refer to later. After this, he decided to change his music completely, and he revolutionized Western music. He became extremely famous and extremely deaf. He behaved very badly towards people because he couldn't hear them and because he felt suspicious of what they were saying. When he died in 1827 at the age of 57, he was the most famous musician, almost the most famous person in Europe. The Heiligstadt Testament was written while Beethoven was up there coping with the consequences of realising he was never going to recover his hearing. I'll read you some extracts from it, and it'll give you a flavour. "Oh, you men who think or say that I am malevolent, stubborn or misanthropic, how greatly you wrong me. You do not know the secret cause which makes me seem the way I am to you. I cannot bear to say to people, Speak louder, shout, for I am deaf. Oh, how could I possibly admit this weakness in the one sense which went to be more perfect in me than others, a sense which I once possessed in the highest perfection, a perfection such as few, if any, in my profession of music enjoy or ever have enjoyed. Oh, I cannot do it. Therefore forgive me when you see me draw back when I would have gladly mingled with you. What a humiliation for me when someone standing next to me heard a flute in the distance and I heard nothing. Or if someone heard a shepherd singing and again I heard nothing. Such incidents drove me almost to despair. A little more of that and I would have ended my life. It is only my devotion to my art that has held me back. It's impossible for me to leave this world until I have brought forth all that I know is within me. God has given me a divine gift, so I must endure this wretched existence. Beethoven had the arrogance to believe that he was one of the supreme people in the history of Western civilization. What arrogance! But he was right. He was right. He behaved very badly to people. They came to him from all over Europe to meet this famous man. He was suspicious of them. He behaved rudely to them. He had a reason. He couldn't hear what they were saying. What do we make of this kind of situation? What do we make of it? Was he arrogant in believing he had a divine gift, that he was a very special human being in the history of Western civilization? Arrogant, yes, and accurate. Was he arrogant as a human being? Yes, as a young man he rebelled against the constraints of birth and class. And from the age of 30 onwards he became suspicious, overbearing, and to other people, yes, abusive. But there was a reason why. Ludwig van Beethoven, supreme musical genius. I'm grateful to you, Ludwig, for bearing your personal cost and enriching our musical heritage.